When one engages in this work, typically most all of the attention is turned toward what would be called a solo journey. Ultimately, it is realized to be a solo journey, but the one is recognized to be everything. And the dynamics that created the forgetting occurred based upon human interaction that arose out of the dream of separation that created the initial hits and the need for protective armoring, and in that the creation of feeling separate. When there is the embarking in deep relationship, to whatever degree the individual work has occurred, there is a recognition initially of a pull. The ones you do deeper work with, there is a pull initially. A fire, really. And it is the pull of self to self, of love unto itself. It is the grace of creation, the flame of relationship, the pull of love unto itself, in the truest sense of the personal relationship, which is not separate, which is not limited, but pure light, and yet there are these flavors, and the union of these flavors is the ecstatic love that is the grace of creation. And usually at the onset there is a recognition in varying degrees that this is alive, particularly with the ones that the deeper work occurs with. And that aliveness creates an underlying trust, a willingness to do the work that pulled you together. And the work lies in the recreation of everything that created the need to protect. So typically, this very deep work occurs over quite an extended period of time, because its role is to burn away all that has been conditioned, which is accumulated over lifetimes. It is either in one primary relationship or it is in many different relationships. Does not matter. It is kind of like a couple that falls deeply in love and decides to have a family. While the children are growing, the attention is on taking care of the children. In a healthy relationship, once there is a recognition that there is this very deep pull and union that is there, even while the attention is in caretaking the children. In this case, it is far more challenging because it is caretaking the elements that created the egoic need to protect. But in true relationship, it is done together, even though the attention shifts to caretaking the challenges. If enough work has been done, what is recognized as the pull that brought the relationship together is so rooted that enables the work to happen. That if the fire was not there, it would not be possible. It is just the attention shifts to the deepest work. And the mind can say, you did this, you did that, you don't love me. But there is a recognition that you have come together to feel this together because the passion is there. It is just the attention is taking care of these injured aspects of the psyche in union, which is the only way it can absolutely fully arise. The conditioned protection wants to move away because that is what originally occurred. But when there is a recognition of the holy nature of what the offering of relationship is all about, and you are carried with a player who holds this space equally, there is the embarking on the most challenging and the holiest work of all. The lion's share of the attention shifts from the work to the initial feeling of the infatuation which came in before the work began. But just like good parents who have raised children, eventually the children grow. And it is time for them to leave home. And then what is discovered is that this light of this passion, this flame of the grace of creation is so much more profoundly alive than it ever was in the willingness to do the work and have the attention distracted until the work is complete. My sense in the play of time and the play of the world and the work of karma, that is what is offered in life, is that the ones that connect more deeply, it is always a return. They are never new relationships, bound by this pull, this connection, this love that is the grace of creation. The pull of self to self. The passion that arises when the flavors of wholeness unite, and there is nothing like it. And because there is this knowingness underneath the conditioning, if one is engaged in dharmic relationship, eventually all the little fragments that created every need for protection in the human interactive play are taken care of. And then the grace of the gift of creation is realized. Then the passion of the union of life is tasted. It has been so clearly seen by everyone that there is no doer, that it is all being played, that there are no mistakes, that there really is no victim nor perpetrator. It is all being done. It is being guided through the imprint of karma, and the ones that are drawn in to do this work together with. It is never new relationship, and it is bound by something that is so deeply rooted that there is a willingness to remain even when conditioning wants to blame and turn. And that is the underlying flame of this passion of human connection. Whether it is primarily with a player or with several, it is eventually recognized that it is the whole flame and beauty of the passion of the union of humanity. When parents are raising children and the relationship is solid, the raising of a child never has to do with me and what I get out of it. You are the offering. You become the offering for all of these elements that created forgetting in the union with what looks to the mind to be that which has stimulated the need to protect. This is the nature of true love. The thing about karma, about ego, is it is just like the raising of a child. It is finite and in time. Eventually it evaporates on its own. And then you turn face to face with the one or the ones that embarked in this work together. And you discover something bigger than you ever knew was possible. Raising children is not something that takes a week, but perhaps half the lifetime for the average person. Releasing all of the boundedness of ego, it is not a short-term project. But it frees the heart into the eternal nature that can dance like a lover in this earth, without need, without fear, and yet ignited in this complete union with everything and everyone. There is no doubt that this is the most challenging part of the journey, and it is why it is most often bypassed. But the offering is an offering of a aliveness, a passion that is otherwise impossible to know. The unrecognized impulse for married couples to have children comes from the underlying impulse to do the real, true parenting work that is already innately within you. Where the love of taking care of that which has been misunderstood is the whole orientation of the heart and the gratification for the taste that first pulled the couple together falls completely in the background, which can only occur when there is a recognition it's still there. It's why the work is being embarked upon. And everything that has karmically played to create the forgetting is moving every player perfectly towards that one simple process of completion. There is never a need to search for anything, to fix anything, or to change anything. It is receiving the beloved in the form of what looks like many until it no longer looks like many. But the flavors of the one and the unique flavors is what creates the fire of living life in the grace of creation. I think most everybody in this room has done enough work to realize that it is the things that have caused the greatest challenge that there is the deepest sense of gratitude for many not while it is going on, but the recognition when the forgetting is not in place is that what brought on the deepest work. This is what bursts the heart open when there is no retreating from the offer. And every single belief and position that has ever been created out of the story of the past will be humbled into nothing. And then the flame that ignites us all erupts.